Ever just, like, lose a whole weekend to a show? You finish it and just kind of feel empty.
I've definitely been there.
Yeah, well, it got me thinking about this Sufi idea, actually.
Right.
It's Rule 22 from the 40 Rules of Love,
Okay. Yeah.
and it talks about this life being like a temporary loan.
I like that.
Yeah, it really struck a chord with me. And it made me wonder if maybe I'm not appreciating this loan as much as I could be, by getting so caught up in these fleeting things.
That's a powerful metaphor, definitely. And the source goes even deeper, describing the world as this, like, sketchy imitation compared to some greater reality.
Okay, so life is a temporary loan
Yeah.
and a world that's a sketchy imitation. What's that even mean, practically speaking?
So picture this. Someone hands you something precious, right?
Hmm.
Something you absolutely cherish. But there's a catch: you can't keep it. It's borrowed. It's a loaner. That's how this rule wants us to see life.
Okay, I'm with you.
But here's the thing. We get so bogged down in the day-to-day, we forget we're even holding something precious. Like, think about work deadlines.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. Are those deadlines really the real thing? Or are they just a sketchy imitation of something way more important? Time with family, passions, even just enjoying the moment.
So we're mistaking the map for the territory,
Yeah.
right? Like lost in the details, missing the bigger picture.
Exactly. The source even compares us to kids who don't know the difference between a toy and something genuinely meaningful. And it goes on to warn us about extremes.
Because those extremes keep us from truly appreciating this loan we've been given. And I mean, we see it everywhere, right? People turning into workaholics,
Well, absolutely.
endlessly scrolling through bad news
Yeah,
or clinging to every fleeting trend like it's the answer to everything.
exactly. And those extremes, they come with consequences.
Mm.
Imagine constantly living in fight or flight mode because of some impossible deadline.
Oh, been there. My nervous system feels that.
Right. That's one extreme. Then there's the opposite end. Chasing fleeting pleasure, constantly needing that next dopamine hit, leaves you feeling empty, you know?
Unsatisfied. Yeah, for sure. So how does the Sufi approach handle all this? It's about moderation, right?
Yeah, but it's not about suppressing your emotions or never committing to anything. The source stresses Sufis do not go to extremes.
Okay.
It's about this mild and moderate way of living, finding that center within yourself.
So it's more about how we react to things, not necessarily avoiding them entirely. Finding that balance in our response instead of always going to the extreme.
Exactly, like learning to ride the waves but not letting them capsize you.
Love that. So what does this mild and moderate approach look like in our everyday lives? Got any examples?
Tons. Let's say social media stresses you out, right?
Always a good example.
This approach might mean setting boundaries. Maybe you check it once a day, tops,
Yeah.
and you focus on real-life connections instead.
Right. Make it intentional.
Exactly. Or crazy work situation. Instead of panicking or burning the midnight oil, try a balanced approach. Set boundaries, talk to your boss. Remember, your worth isn't tied to your output.
Love it. And it applies to relationships too, right? Instead of riding that roller coaster of extreme highs and lows, maybe a Sufi perspective would say, build trust, communicate openly, and focus on that grounded kind of love.
Exactly.
This really gets you thinking about where you might be leaning into extremes in your own life, huh?
It does, for sure. But maybe even more important, it asks, what are we mistaking for the real thing? What toys have we gotten a little too attached to? Something to ponder as we navigate this loan we call life, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely something to think about.